Hey guys, it's Dr. Liz here. How are you doing? Thank you so much for just dropping in today. We're going to be talking about embracing your partner's flaws. What are those flaws? Why do I want to step into those? Because really, what it is maybe they don't have flaws, but maybe part of it is that we were born into our culture, lots of cultures, there's myths and messages that mix us all up about what really is true love. All right. And um, maybe it's complete with knights on in shining armor and white horses and women with long flowy hair to ensure that you'd be rescued from the castle tower. Okay. Maybe like for many of us, our teenage years, we were cut on movies like The Bad Guy, the mysterious, strong, silent, kind of out of step with the other nice guys. And they would woo and win and steal the girl from those average kind of guys. And that's these subtle messages that kind of drop in, not kind of, but they subtly influence our life, our world. um, in fact, I remember I Love Lucy shows when in the black and white, and when she became the vamp to scare off Uncle Ernie, their cousin, from staying at their apartment any longer. And it was funny. So if you ever want to see that, just Google on YouTube. I Love Lucy and the Vamp. Okay. But here she was, this mysterious, sexy, seductive woman, and was stealing and pushing people away. And it was fun. It was fun. So these romantic cartoons, Disney romance novels, now, Audibles and things, they all send a unrealistic, unhealthy message or a norm. They're setting a level, an example of what romance, love, dating, relationships, and marriage are truly about. So our bar, as subtle as it might be, may be up here. And it gets, we get confused because we're not really sometimes teasing these all out. But, and don't get me wrong, I am a sucker for a feel good romance, escape movie, or book. All right. It's one of those movies, those times where it's like, I already know how it's going to turn out, but I still want to watch it over and over again because I just want to feel good and see people be happy, kind of thing. Maybe some of you know the Sleepless in Seattle. And these are how these plots start to play on us. They're great as long as they stay entertaining, but as they get incorporated into our somewhat levels of expectations or our wishfulness of our spouse or partner, that wishfulness sometimes has us focusing on what they lack instead of what they bring to the table. Because in Sleepless in Seattle, the widower and his son magically are connected with the woman of his dreams by his son and a late night talk show. All right. Or the P.S. I Love You. And the dying husband plans and rolls out kind of a year-long pledge of his love to help his grieving wife heal after he's gone. Um, you know, get unlost and unstuck in her life plans and lead her ultimately to find her new life career passion and strength, and then possibly actually a new hobby. All right. And so I say, who wouldn't enjoy those feel good movies and feel good moments? Um, but we're human, okay? We're human. And in the midst of the movies, the books, the audiobooks, or after the fact, we often find ourselves comparing us with them and finding that us, our relationship, our spouse, our significant other is a bit lacking. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes you look at these movies and then the setting is beautiful. It's clean, it's neat. Um, they they're dressed nicely. You step out of that movie and you look around like, oh wow, I have to vacuum still, and the laundry's kind of stacked up, and you know they're not looking like that on the TV, and I'm not looking like that on the TV or in my mind in the book. Okay. And so as we start to compare us, our relationship, our route with the movie, and it can be very, very subtle and very, very unconscious. Again, as I said, we sometimes find ourselves lacking and we get confused or discouraged as we compare, judge, We know intellectually it's only a movie. It's not really real, but it's yet we still drawn to and wondering why not me, or what's wrong with me, what's wrong with it. And so of watching, absorbing these subtle messages over our developmental period, over our lifetime, with the nice guys or girls being boring or dull, with the relationship seeing like in the movie they're exciting and they're thoughtful and they're creative, and we go back to compare with our sweethearts that are easygoing, predictable, reliable, they're committed, well, maybe it's unsatisfied, and we start to say that's not real love. It's just everyday stuff, and we um, notice. Well, sometimes we notice. I notice because you show up with me that the interest is wavering, and the relationship is weakening or ending because we're getting a little bit confused about what true love is or what we want in a relationship because we're comparing, cross comparing. And so over the years, I have sat with thousands of people as they ponder and they debate dating folks as well as married or in a committed relationship folks. Should they stick with their nice, safe, reliable guy, gal, person, partner, spouse? It doesn't have them head or heels in passion anymore on a daily basis. They get disappointed at times. Their sweethearts forget. They're not flashy. They're wearing that same T-shirt that they've had for 10 years. Spontaneity drops, but they're consistent. They're kind. They're predictable. And so these folks that sit and ponder with me, they sometimes start to think that they've missed out, that this is not real love. This is not love. And so they started confusing themselves, their personal satisfaction, and the relationships with inaccurate and unrealistic images of true, long-lasting, lifetime love. Okay. Bottom line is that no one can make our dreams come true, to wow and woo us every day. That's not impossible. Okay. One thing, we have to act on that, and we have to take direct action in our world. But we know that no one person can make these dreams come true, but we still linger and we critiqued us, them, our marriage and relationship, because again, it still feels different than what we see out there, what we think we see on social media, even nowadays, because what pops up on social media is typically all shiny and nice and people doing fun things, and they're all, selfies doing fun activities or dolled up or, loving on each other. We got to get clear, guys. We need to break through this Hollywood and decide what you want in your spouse or your partner. How do you want to show up every day in your marriage or your relationship? Okay. Not what the others are doing. Let's identify that might be a goal. All right. You want to look like this, or you want them to show up with that. Okay. That could be a goal. But understand that it's your partner or your spouse, and you can't really change them. Or we're going to talk about that. You can't really fix them. We're going to talk about that too. And we have to be realistic in our expectations, and we'll be talking about that too. And so for today, I want you to talk about how do you want to show up each and every day in your marriage or your relationship. Spend some time, write it down, talking to your phone, your Voxer voice message. What would you like to see in your partner or spouse? What would you like to see a little bit different? This takes a bit of time plus effort, and it's 100% worth it. All right. Because we're not looking at changing them. We're talking about starting with you. That's one of the hallmarks of my work with couples, that it starts with each of us individually. We don't need to wait for the other person. In fact, sometimes waiting has us years and years down the road, because sometimes it's hard to get two people synced up at the same time with the feelings of this is urgent, or this is dissatisfied enough, or worrisome enough, or we both feel like we have enough time to focus on it. It starts with you. You can respark, you can recreate, you can make better, you can have a loving, exciting, satisfying relationship you desire and dream of. Okay. The nice side effect of all this is that as you step up and you step in, they see it, they feel it. That's the pivotal, that's the change point. Okay. They see it, they feel it. they become more. They start responding to the new interactions, the new way we're talking, maybe the new way you're showing up and looking. And it creates more of the love and more of the attention and connection that you really need and want and desire in your marriage or your relationship. So I want you to start looking at the flaws, look at the gaps, and design the relationship romance plus the true love that you both deserve. Right? Okay. I'm going to start showing you over the next few days more about how to shift your focus where you're not fixing them and you're being more realistic, and how are you showing up. But for today, I want you just to ponder. Um, Ideally, yes, both of you get on board together and say, hey, we need to up our game. Great, perfect. Then both of you take the time and the effort and do a little deep digging. What would you like to see in the other person? What would you like to see in yourself? How do you plan to step up and show up better in this relationship? Great. If they're not right on board right now, no problem. You start now, because they will follow. Trust me, they will follow. They will feel the difference and it will be marvelous. All right, take care. I'm dropping off here, and I appreciate you guys popping in. Bye.